on the 10th lecture where we are looking at writing and handwriting support. Earlier we dealt with, on lecture 9, spelling support, and this is important to just give us a sense of where we are. But for today, I would like us to look at writing and handwriting support. This is important, although challenging, in the era of artificial intelligence and where we are now. I will come back to what you see here highlighted in a few minutes. Neurodiversity and Crime by Dr. Neil Alexandra. I'll get back to that. But for now, handwriting keeps on rearing its head, although we are in the midst of technology, and I want to assume that even when we have, for example, to write affidavits and all that, we don't type it. It has to be handwritten. They give you a paper there, and you start doing what you need to do and explaining what is going on. But if there's no handwriting, then there is a problem. I'm not sure if our police forces are now equipped to deal with alternative ways of helping people, or maybe even a child. We know that our children with disability mostly are taken advantage of. And when a child now is needed to provide evidence, how best do they do it? Let's suppose that it's somebody who cannot even speak, who doesn't have speech, but fortunately they can write. Are they given an opportunity to do that? But again, the beauty of handwriting, if you look at this slide in front of us, how beautiful this person writes. It's very clear, and the spacing, and also the letters themselves, the formation of the letters, you can't go wrong. You read, and it's as if the person was using a machine. I'm one of the horrible writers, and I always say that if there's anything I would have wanted to have inherited from my father, was his handwriting. It was incredible. But mine, sometimes I do struggle myself to find out where am I. But really, handwriting is important because it is a medium of communication. If we don't speak, we write. And those are mainly the two major ways through which we communicate our world with the rest of the people. And you can see the examples that I'm giving here. They are very important. But I would like us to discuss a little bit. As I said, I'll go back to the former slides that I show. But before I go on, can we discuss a little bit and find out what, according to you, are the benefits of handwriting in the era of artificial intelligence, where you can tell machines to write? Are there any benefits? Do we still need to teach our learners how to write, how to handwrite? Anybody? Since I can't see your hands, please feel free to just open your mic and comment. Anyone?
Prof, it's Claire Hubbard here.
Go ahead, madam.
I'm an occupational therapist, so I'm seeing it from the other point of view.
Beautiful.
So all the referrals that we get for handwriting, and what we see is that inadequate or inconsistent letter formation, lack of fluency, and we really, in the same way that we teach reading, we need to teach handwriting in a very explicit method. So in the Eastern Cape, we've developed a 2-day handwriting workshop for educators to really let them understand we were never meant to write things down in the same way humans were never learned, weren't supposed to read. And it's handwriting in itself is a very complex skill, because if we don't get
Yes.
to the point it's automatic, then how can a child write their ideas down? So
Yeah.
your writing is then impacted, and your ability to show what you can learn is impacted. So that's my way in on this subject.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very, very important. And your approach from the perspective of being an occupational therapist is very important, because then again it is saying how do we support these learners, and you are saying the discrepancies that you are seeing there. It means the message somehow it can get lost. And how do we deal with that? Thank you so much, Claire. Can we hear from others, please?
Hi, Prof.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
It's me, Sandy. Sometimes if you don't write or on a paper or maybe on your phone or one of the devices, you tend to forget how certain words are written, because you used to tell one of the artificial, okay, please write 1, 2, 3. But if you don't write a lot, you tend to forget how certain words are written. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, very important, because, yeah, you know, a lot of us now so fixated with technology and use of computer. We can't spell anymore. Sometimes you get stuck. You're like, how do I spell this word? Because you are so right, Sandile. We are not using it as often as we are supposed to, and therefore that kind of skill gets lost. Imagine if we were to get thrown into a world that does not have technology anymore. It will be chaos, really. So it means then it is still very important to assist our learners in terms of handwriting. Thank you so much, Sandile. Anybody else?
Prof Max, I'd like to add to what Sandile said.
Yes.
I often I'm asked to do study method workshops from different schools and to different grades. So I do quite a lot of reading up on study methods and what is the best way for kids to learn at different grades. And the research that is coming through at the moment tends to say that if you write down the notes that you are learning, or you actually drawing the mind maps yourself and adding onto it, you learn better than if you're using a computer to do it. So that's quite an interesting thing.
So true. And very important, not only interesting, doctor, but very important, because you are saying then that neurologically, that handwriting and the link between how what the person is writing when they are taking notes and internalizing the knowledge is very, very important. And that is really very beneficial, meaning that handwriting should not be done away with. It has to be maintained, and we have to keep encouraging our learners to go on and do that. Okay. Another person, please.
I think just to connect with what Dr. Liz said from my own personal aspect, when I'm making my study notes or preparing for an essay, I find it much more easier to develop the outline on paper and shuffle topics and move things around on a piece of paper than it is doing it on the laptop or computer. But I have a question for Claire. I find it very interesting, and I understand the kind of letter formation importance, but do you think as we progress in our modern age and seeing from kind of the grade 0 to grade 2 perspective, letter formation doesn't seem to be fitting and sticking with kids from my perspective? I'd love to hear other people's.
Okay. Claire, do you want to tackle that?
Yes, if I may, and thank you for the question. There's a lot of support in the literature that when you handwrite, the mechanics of handwriting with your hand as opposed to typing activates your language centers. And that happen when you type. So I know we're in a new digital age and we're encouraging typing, and there are some children like with CP who have to go straight onto a keyboard, maybe an on-screen keyboard with a mouse and so on. But there's a lot of support for the mechanics of handwriting. to activate the language centers. So the handwriting is paired then with phonics and spelling and all of those things. I've got 3 or 4 really good articles that I'll try and pop into the chat that support actual handwriting with the hands.
Thank you so much. That will be very lovely. Dr. Liz, can you help us disseminate those, please, so that people
Yes,
can
I
have
will.
them?
I'll
Thank
do
you so
that.
much. Thank you so much. Carol, I saw Carol's hand first. Elmarie, you'll be next. Carol, go ahead, please.
Yes, I just also wanted to ask about pencil grip and the effect it has on handwriting, because I've noticed my grade ones, the majority of them have got really, really bad pencil grip.
Okay, I think we have a slide that we'll talk about that in a little while. If you can just hold on a little bit, but people should come on and have their inputs on that one. But we will deal with that right now. Okay, madam. Thank you. There was somebody else after you.
I think it was Elmarie.
Yes, Elmarie, go ahead. Have we lost Elmarie? Okay, fine. Elmarie can come in at any stage. Let's go ahead then. Then we all agree that handwriting is still very important, and it is very much encouraged that we continue with helping our learners to do that. I think what Claire was saying, that in terms of brain activation, then it means we cannot at all be in a position to discard that. So it remains that, oh, I forgot that I said I was going to go back to my friend there. Let me go back, but it looks like the computer. I just want us to have a snippet of a colleague who is, how do I call him now? Who is a friend as well as someone in whose book I have a chapter. His name is Dr. Neil Alexandra Pass, and in 2018, was it 2018? When did this book come out? They asked me to collaborate a chapter there, and the book is called Entrepreneurship, Dyslexia and Education, Research, Principles and Practice. And my chapter in this book is on page 92. My chapter dealt with dyslexia, entrepreneurship, and transition to decent work. I was trying to link with issues of what we are dealing with now in terms of sustainable development goals, which I've been complaining that how do they actually link with. I just want us to have a short, a taste, just a taste of his work and what he has done. I hope this can be able to open for us so that we can have a sense of what he's doing. He presented for us on Wednesday. We had, we had a training for educational psychologists for the Department of Higher Education, about 66 of them. And this man, he was not there, and he couldn't present physically. He at least gave us this. It's on YouTube. You can find it there as long as you have this title, and then you can go there and find it.
Prof, just to let you know that you're not sharing this video with sound, so we can't hear anything.
Oh, okay. Then that's a problem there. If that is the case, then let me not even get into the nitty-gritties of trying to fiddle with sound, but it is available. So you will have it and copy it for yourself, and then just have a look at it, if you will. Let me not waste time then, because this is important. However, it's a pity because he is so great in terms of the subject matter that we are treating. Not unless somebody can guide me and say, this is how you get to the sound, then we can do it. Is there anybody who can?
So
Yeah.
what you need to do is when you share your screen, you'll see a sort of a drop-down button, and you need to share with sound instead of just pressing on share screen.
Yeah, okay. Let me try again. Let me try again. I have pressed something that says share with sound.
Yeah, so there is a button that you need to, it says share content, and then there's a thing that you need to turn to green that says include sound.
Yeah, I here. Can you see above? Is that the one you are referring to?
No, we can't see. No. So it's when on the team chat where you go to share your screen.
Okay.
It's instead of just clicking on the blue button that says share, you need to go to the drop down menu, and there's a setting that you need to say include sound.
Okay, then it's going to get me into too many things. Let me not rather do that. Audio settings.
No, it's not that. It's
Yeah.
where you've got the red, you see the stop sharing.
Yeah.
You need to press stop sharing, and then you need to press share again, and then you will and then press that. You can see the drop down menu, and then it says include sound, and you need to turn that on.
So I do this, ne? And go
I
where?
can't see, you're not
Yeah.
sharing yet, so I can't see. So it says share,
include sound. I have clicked include sound.
Yeah, if you put that on, then we should hear it.
Let's try again and see if we can be lucky, because I really would like people to hear this man, because I think it's an example of what we are talking about.
Really about neuro means.
Is there sound?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello,
Thank you, Sue.
welcome
Thank you, Prof.
to a talk by myself on neuro dyslexia, neurodiversity, and crime. This relates to two of my books, dyslexia, neurodiversity, and crime, and also the latest book in the series, ADHD and Crime, which came out last month, and I'm now doing research for the newest book of the series, Autism and Crime. I am Dr. Neil Alexander Pass. So the plan for this talk, it is talk about who I am, what is dyslexia, dyslexia in the classroom, the school to put some pipeline, and then about ADHD in the classroom, and also how it relates to the school to put some pipeline. We will then move on to autism, and also autism in the classroom and relating to the school to put some pipeline. We will then look at data relating to this, and why young people choose obviously crime and neglect within prisons, challenges within prisons, and then possible solutions and food for thought. Well, let's just move on. So who am I? I'm dyslexic myself. I struggled in school, but found art and design as my way of making sense of my collection of strengths and obviously difficulties as a dyslexic young person. I was just trained as a teacher in 2009. I gained my PhD in 2018. It was a PhD by published work. At present, I'm a SENCO special needs manager in a school in London, and also the author of 15 books on dyslexia, neurodiversity, and mental health. So neurodiversity is a collective term for many neuro diverse or a collection of different ways of thinking. To me, is a fruit salad as a person might and obviously have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. You will find that people with say autism, they might have dyslexia and also ADHD. Trying to plan for this fruit salad is a challenge, but really neurodiverse is really about neuro means brain, so diverse brains compared to a neurotypical person who is what we would try and not use the term of normal. No one's normal. We're all an obviously collection of obviously different strengths and difficulties, but they talk about neurodiverse and neurotypical people. So what is dyslexia? Well, rose in 2009, spoke about a learning difficulty and obviously affecting word reading and spelling. However, it does and obviously it does also affect phonological awareness, verbal memory, and verbal processing. To me, it is a obviously spectrum, and so two people just with this dyslexia just might and obviously have different difficulties, strengths and obviously difficulties. There isn't a blood test for it, so you are talking about a collection of dyslexic type and obviously difficulties that it isn't and obviously affected by IQ. So the difficulties that you will find are difficulties with learning to read and reading fast, just grasping what's read, short-term memory, difficulties with tying shoelaces, handwriting, short-term memory, spelling. It's quite hard to decode everything you will obviously hear and then obviously try and spell it, and also letters being reversed like B's and D's, P's and Q's, Z's and S's, five and threes.
Okay, colleagues, let me stop him there, and we go back now to our presentation. But I'd just like to have your thoughts, having heard him. And you can see also that he was also talking about handwriting, and he says people with dyslexia would have messy handwriting. Can I have your inputs there, your thoughts? What do you think? Are these some of the things that you have experienced? And listening to him, that he keeps repeating words all the time. They call it echolalia at some point. But what are your thoughts? What are your comments? What are your feelings? Anybody? There's an awkward silence. Am I still audible that side, Dr. Liz?
Yes, Prof, you are.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Prof, it's
Yes,
Ella
go ahead.
again. You know, I don't always see autism as paired with poor handwriting, but because for me, autism is primarily a language disorder of communication. But and dyslexia is also a language-based disorder. But what we do see of particular things in the handwriting, like letter reversals, word reversals, like using the word from instead of form. So it's not with the mechanics of handwriting, because I think that would fall under a developmental coordination disorder or a dysgraphia. But I think that I think one should always look at the handwriting fluency with a child who's dyslexic. The speed at which they're reading means that the fluency of handwriting is going to be poor, because they're not able to gather their writing thoughts into fluent handwriting. So these children tend to be able to copy better than they can with free handwriting. That's been my experience.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. And but as you heard him say also, one person might have one or three or two or three of these conditions. Perhaps there can be a link even with autism. Let's say the main one is autism, but then dyslexia, then another thing. Then we can have a problem there. Hence why I think he also particularly spoke about messy handwriting. But I do hear what you are saying. No, thank you so much. Somebody else? Okay. It looks like we are still digesting what he has been saying, but let me go on. Then let's carry on with the lecture. All right. So handwriting remains an important means of communication, even in this era of high technological availability. And the ability to handwrite legibly and easily remains a vital skill in many aspects of our daily life. So we cannot do away with it. And as I said, if you look at the heading there, handwriting, it is so nice when you see a handwriting that can communicate the message you want to pass on. And we are saying that it is still important, and it should still be taught. And but it looks like as I think you rightly said, there's a lot that evidences gaps and in terms of our children's handwriting. And now it's a question of what is it that we are doing wrong and how can we rectify that so that we help them to improve on their handwriting. It says here why handwriting is still essential in the keyboard age. One way to answer this is to look at what happened when researchers scanned writers' brains. I think this is where, Claire, you were making those links during writing tasks. They identified greater brain activation when handwriting was used rather than other modes. So in that way, supporting the theory that the increased cognitive involvement could explain the positive impact on learning. So handwriting, as we do it, it activates the brain and therefore supports, the theory that that cognitive involvement impacts on how we learn. I think that is what we have heard earlier. Now, once again, what are the advantages of handwriting? That the fact that recall and composition quality as mentioned above, they improve. And also learning letter forms for reading. These things, unfortunately, they go together. Reading, writing, reading, they go together. And then the development of language and critical thinking. That is, I think, where now the link goes back to what we have just seen, that brain activation happens here. And then recall of algebraic concepts, and also cognitive development across many disciplines. Our children will be learning language, they will be learning the sciences, mathematics, and all that. Are they learning language that they can use to benefit them at the end of the day? So handwriting instructions. Handwriting is not unimportant in the world of today. So the pen, pencil, and paper are very affordable and transportable easily and usable. And also, even if we don't have to transport them physically, these days you take a picture of what you have written, you send it to another person, even through a cell phone or something. So the line between writing digitally and by hand is becoming blurred, yes, but we are saying that it is important to continue with handwriting. So a good handwriting has a high legibility score, mainly because of the spacing between letters and words. I think here I'm talking to the converted, but the importance then of fluent and legible handwriting is that the legibility of one's writing can bias evaluations of compositions written by hand. One of the people who presented in our seminar this week, both on Tuesday and Wednesday, was my former student while I was at the University of Pretoria. And what he said there in terms of the bias of evaluations, we know that as teachers, once you don't see what the person has written, already it works on your nerves. And we are talking about here sometimes learners who may not be in a position to actually write as legibly as we would want them to be, but they are part of what needs to be assisted as that group of learners, and we can't overlook that. So that fluent and legible handwriting is a task to get there. Nonetheless, it is a task that faces us. And I think, Claire, also you were making references to the psychology of handwriting, in that it actually helps us to internalize what we are learning, actually improve our learning. So he, in his presentation, also referred to messy handwriting, what it may reveal about our personality. This is why it is called the psychology of handwriting here. Perhaps in the brain, as he said, neurodiversity, neuro means brain. Perhaps in the brain, the connections of the neurons are not happening such that they allow us the space to be in a position to do things in a way that they make sense to the next person. Because it is important in terms of writing to recognize that we are not writing for ourselves, but we are writing for the next person. So we need to embark, therefore, on handwriting and writing development. And the issue of mastering handwriting early is especially important for our young children. And until children can form letters with reasonable legibility and speed, again, Claire, you revert to speed, much of their writing concentration and effort is consumed with letter production, because they will be stuck in trying to, I need to get this letter properly. And then their time is wasted in that particular moment, because this person gets fixated on one letter instead of writing the whole thing. So improving pencil control, I think a colleague asked about pencil grip, and these are part of what we can share. You have the slides. I will not go into more details due to time, but we can see that they're trying to help us in terms of even the positioning of the arm, and then the wrist, and then the hand, how we do that, and how we control the pencil. And what you asked about is right there, pencil grip. We should not assume children somehow know the best way to hold a pencil or learn it from incidental experience, but we should be deliberate about how we teach the children how to grip a pencil. Now, with what we have seen in terms of neurodiversity, this will be very challenging, because we may be dealing with a person with comorbidities of other conditions that may impact on their muscle tone and how they move their hands and how they hold instruments such as a pencil and all that. So the issue of support really in this course goes far beyond that what we can actually assume is the case here. And then the challenges that students with writing difficulties face, as I say, it says here writing is complex and multifaceted. And sometimes it's socioeconomic status and family literacy practices can promote students' success with literacy tasks such as writing. I sometimes, when I look at issues of socioeconomic status, parents of today, not many of us have time for our children. We may have lots and lots of money, but we are not there for our children to help them, to see if a child is struggling with gripping a pencil to write. Or on the other hand, it could be it's people who are living in squalor. And you find that such people, most of the time, most of their life is about entertainment for themselves, and they neglect the children. And so in such instances, then it becomes difficult. Hence why I always keep referring back to where we started with this module, the environment. The environment. Whatever it is that we are doing, our students struggling because of what reason? Is it physiological reasons? Is it psychological reasons? Is it economical reasons? Is it socio-economical? Is it social reasons? Because we know also in terms of children, many times children would laugh at each other instead of supporting. It may take one child who will say, this friend of mine seems like they are struggling with the grip of a pencil. Let me help them and see how best I can assist them. So these are the things that we are talking about. Madam, this is now what we are talking about in terms of a pencil grip. And you can see here in this slide, the use of that something looks like putty or something. At least it gives them not the thinner part of a pencil, but something that cushions their hand in a sense that it helps them to grip the pencil. And be able to write. If you look at the green here, this person can't even form a proper cycle. It means you are right to say, in terms of pencil grip, then this person seems to be having a problem. It will lead to what Dr. Neil saying, that when now they start to write sentences, write paragraphs, it may be as messy as anything, because you can imagine if a mere fact of making a cycle or maybe a zero or something as round as this becomes a struggle, what more about other letters that a learner might have to do? So we are saying here that writing development for children identified as risk, children at risk for literacy difficulty may also struggle with writing, and the writing skills of young children with oral language impairment may also be another problem. And then children are identified as due to this exhibit comprehensive delays, even writing, their own name and all of that. And it is important that we take care of that. Methods of how to promote writing improvement among students. One needs to be reading high quality texts that allows us to understand, to internalize, and also these high quality texts will help, as we were saying, making the link between reading, comprehending what we're reading, and then transposing it into writing it so that we internalize what we are reading. And we are saying here, teachers and parents at home should also devote time each day to help the learners. This is where now a link between yourselves as educators and the parents at home, you know, that feedback to say, it looks like we are still battling with pencil grip here, will be very important, because then it gives you feedback to now go back and say, how best do we support this parent? It's not to say that parents are now replacing what we are doing in school, but it is that synchrony that allows continuity in terms of learning. Yes, e-readers are there. They can help students by decoding the text for them, yes, to understand, but let them then go on practice writing thereafter. This is the so-called e-reader. And there are so many of these gadgets now in the market. But you and I know that this is probably not very accessible for our students, and we may not even be fixated in that. However, that practice that I think a colleague referred to has to be done on a daily basis, where we practice every day. We practice every day until the learner has grasped what is it that we are trying to. And we said that evidence-based research on why students need traditional handwriting is out there. I think Dr. Lees also referred to it. I hope that those articles have been shared so that colleagues can have a peek into what they mean. And as we're saying, also handwriting. Claire, I wonder whether you guys are thinking of writing books for the South African market, for the South African school system, with the kind of experience that you have. Are we finding ourselves sitting down and saying we can not always be learners and receivers of knowledge, but there should come a point where we can be producers of knowledge? And I want to challenge you. I've said this before, but here I want to say that there may be a need really of imparting, sharing the skills that you have, the knowledge that you have, in a way that does not only end up in workshops, but even if you invite us to workshops to train us to say, this is how, from our perspective, we see the problem and the challenge, and we can help, but leave us with a book that you can say, here is a book that you can buy, and let's go ahead and help with that. I think we are in a space where I have always said that it is time that we become productive in South Africa and produce and produce and produce. I want to say that in August, we will be having a visitor at the department from the USA. She's a friend of mine and a co-researcher. And we will be inviting teachers to come and tell us how, you know that I'm directing the Center for Neurodiversity now at UJ, but I always emphasize, as I said before, that I respect the knowledge that you have as teachers. So I'm extending an invitation. Those of you who would want to participate, she will be arriving on the 12th. We will meet with the department and students, and then the 13th, I think somewhere around there, yes, it will be a Tuesday. That is the space that is designated for teachers. And I would really love if some of you who would be available could come and participate to tell us, in terms of the center, we are developing a strategy for this center. And this is a national center. It's not my center. It doesn't belong to the department. It is run through the department, but it is a national hub. And we always make mistakes of thinking we know. And my approach is to take a humble stance and say, can we invite you guys to come and share? And those who would want to participate, I haven't asked Dr. Liz this, but can you send an email to her, and she will send me the names of those who would want to participate. Then we can send you a formal invitation. This way, when we are developing these courses in the university, we have your voices. We have not left you behind. I'm challenged by this handwriting practice workbook because I don't know how much is out there, but I believe and know that the knowledge you have can carry us far. I would like to stop here and say that I think for today, this is what we could have we could have done, and I would like to hear your reflections on the last part of what I said. If this is going to be beneficial, not only to you as individuals, but also for South Africa as a whole. Any comments before we call it a day? Okay. Doesn't seem like there are comments. It looks like today I'm talking very difficult language. I don't know, maybe. Yes, Tabby, go ahead, please.
Hi there, Prof. I think I'd just like to reiterate Sue's question in the chat. Would it be a possibility for us in the Western Cape to join virtually?
Oh my goodness, I didn't see in the chat because
no, that's okay. We got your back, Prof.
Wow. You know, you're posing a challenge there. Perhaps we could consider, because where we'll be working is in a hall. Send me an email through Dr. Liz, and let's see how best we can do that, because I think the venue will have the possibility to do that. And in fact, it would allow more people to participate in that way.
Stunning. Thank you. Will do.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. It's 5 to 11. In that case, then, class dismissed. I would be very happy if many of you can join on the 13th of August, so that we have, inputs in terms of developing the strategy for the center. Thank you so much, and have a lovely day. I will switch off because I think the class still goes on. we were told in the same link. So it will be just myself. Dr. Liz, any comments from you?
No, Prof, not at this moment. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. Have a lovely day.
You too.
Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.